Hey guys, it's Smallmouth Crusher. On behalf of Monster Bass, I wanted to take a quick moment to talk about the Bagley Sunny B. What a great little crankbait. It's actually put some really good fish in the boat for me. And I want to break it down. I want to share with you guys how I use this bait, when I use it, and some of the different types of structure. And then I also want to talk about the actual setup that I'll actually throw this crankbait on. So this Bagley Sunny B is really a flat-sided crankbait. It has a really unique wobble, which gives it just a little different vibration in the water. And for me, it's almost like a more of a finesse approach when I'm throwing a crankbait. So I want a little sneak attack action going on, and that's exactly what this bait's doing for me. So I like to throw this bait around shallow cover. I really like this bait to dig in. It's got a great lip action here, and when it digs into the bottom, it just bounces off any of the objects that are down there. So it really excels around some good chunk rock that I'm fishing today. It also is going to work around some gravel, some hard bottom points, some flats, places like that. But right now I'm having a lot of luck just running it around some good structure, some good rock structure that these fish are set up on.
There we go.
Nice little guy. Nice bass. Inhaled it. Inhaled it on the Bagley Sunny B. Crankbait. Little crankbait action for you. I gotta get the pliers on this guy. He inhaled that bait. Something about crankbait fishing that gets me going, and there's something about having the right crankbait. When they eat it like that, you got the right crankbait. That's a decent fish there. So I like throwing this crankbait on a bait casting setup. So I have a bait casting rod and a bait casting reel. I'm using a lower gear ratio. I'm using a 6.2 to 1. And the reason for that is to help me slow down my retrieve. When I'm throwing crankbaits, I don't need a really extra fast gear ratio. Although you can get away with that, you just have to be conscious about it and slow yourself down. Now that the reel's a 6.2, I'm just forced to be slow regardless of how fast I crank that. And what that allows is that bait to get a little bit deeper, allows me to work it a little bit more slower, slow it down around some of these areas. So a key couple spots that I'm seeing here are some of these gaps in this rock wall. And when I get to that, I'm just slowly cranking that crankbait around it, trying to bang it off the rocks and get a reaction bite, and that's certainly what it's doing. So they come in a lot of great colors. I'm actually using the red craw color right now, but any type of bait fish color would work good. I just started using this color around these rocks because I feel like these fish are keen on crayfish, and that's certainly what they're feeding on right now. I like to throw it on a specific crankbait rod. So this is about a 7-foot crankbait rod. It's fiberglass. So what that actually allows is that rod to really load up. It has an extremely soft tip, which is important when I'm throwing smaller crankbaits and you get that fish on with treble hooks. I want to be able to keep them pinned. So a real nice bend in that rod is going to let me play that fish and get them in the boat. Then I actually am throwing this on 10-pound fluorocarbon. You certainly get away with 8, 10, 12, whatever you're comfortable with, but in this situation, 10-pound fluorocarbon is great. When you're fishing crankbaits, you're gonna get hung. I tried everything besides jumping in the water to get this bait back. A lure retriever, got a little wet, and then the line snapped on me. There goes that lure. Well guys, I took the net out and scraped the bottom and got her back. That makes me happy. Back in business. Well, there you go. The Bagley Sunny B put some fish in the bowl for me. I encourage you guys to give it a try this year. Throw it around some of that rock, some of that hard cover. I think you're going to be pretty impressed. I think it's going to help you catch some more fish this year.